Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to Telechazzy. Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? It's a kind of like a brand new, well, it's not exactly new, the title is new, the name is new, but it's basically continuing the trend that I had of reviewing TV shows, you know, and series that I watch, you know, similar to Cinema Chazzy, but except instead of movies, it's going to be just TV shows, you know, so everything that I had reviewed before that was actually part of the mixer is now going to be put into Telechazzy, you know, so that's how it's going to be from now on, alright? And today I'm going to be talking about Black Mirror.
Singularity is when computers learn to outsmart man like women did years ago.
You are so adorable.
We're genuinely empathetic as a species. We don't actually really want to kill each other.
This is a very, very interesting show. I actually enjoyed it a lot, you know, and it's kind of weird because, like, it's a dystopian television series, right? So it's kind of like set in like the near but also alternative future, you know, where technology has dominated us to a point that it gets to dangerous levels, you know, and each episode is like standalone, you know. Each one tells a different story with different characters in a different place all around the United Kingdom, you know, and there are a few elements that kind of make you think that they're connected, you know. There are a few recurring characters and plot elements that kind of make me think that like everything is connected, because then again, it is all in the UK. So technically it is connected, you know, it all happens in the same place, so, you know, but anyway, so the thing with this series is that it has about 4 or 5 seasons, right? Let me just check, I have a little cheat sheet here, you know, I forgot how many seasons there are. I'm pretty sure there are 5, guys. There are 5 seasons. Yeah, there are 5 seasons, and I just wanted to make sure. And the thing with this show is that like each season has like, some of them have very few episodes, you know, like there's one that has I think maybe 3, you know, but each episode is long. It's like about an hour or so long, you know, maybe even a bit longer, some of them. So it's actually, it's kind of almost like South Korean TV shows where everything is like an hour long. And I think that each season presented something unique, you know, like the show has its own little format, its own little style, you know. It's an anthology, so each story is different, you know, told through the perspective of different people, and we see different things happening, but pretty much all of them, at least that I can remember, is related to technology to some degree, you know. And it starts to get very dark, you know. There's things involving, there's cheating, there's stealing, there's death, there's child pedophilia, you know, there's a lot of different things happening, you know. So the thing with this show is that I like it for the sole reason that it intrigues me, you know. The very first episode that I saw already kind of left me on the edge of my seat, you know. You know, it got these technologies in your eyes where you have the power to replay things from people's minds, you know. It's kind of like when you record a video and you can play it back on your computer, right? Well, in this case, their people can have like what they saw, it's like sort of saved in their minds, almost like a hard drive where you can just activate it on your TV, you know. That is awesome. I would love to have that. Like whenever I go through a really cool moment, I could relive it, not through my mind, but actually see it in front of me, you know. That'd be really cool. But as you guys can imagine, you know, there are a few problems that are happening, you know, because it'd be very hard for you to cheat on your wife or husband, for example, if you have this technology, which was the main theme of this episode. There's another one where the Prime Minister's daughter got kidnapped and, you know, he had to screw a pig, you know, and do all these crazy things. And in the end, we saw that was all a hoax. But anyway, each episode has its own little dilemma that is resolved, you know, in specific certain ways by the characters involved, you know. Some of them are pretty okay and pretty much just like harmless pranks, you know, made to make the person suffer a bit, you know, but others are actually very, very serious, you know. It involves government killing people, so, you know, it's a it has a lot of layers. This series has a lot of layers, you know.
Where am I?
Hip hip hooray!
A sunnier future.
Turn it off.
But how long can happiness realistically last anyhow?
Now, it is nothing like the German television show Dark, where literally nothing makes sense, you know. It's not that bad, you know, because if you watch it, each episode has its own story. So, like, even if you watch them out of order, you're not really gonna miss anything because they're not exactly connected, you know. It is my personal theory that they are connected, but you have to really pay attention to see the Easter eggs in each episode, you know. Not all of them have that, but we see similar pieces of technology here and there, you know. There's actually one episode that I like a lot, which is gaming related, right? Which is two friends who they play a game together through virtual reality, but it is one of those It's virtual reality in Black Mirror, guys. It's really crazy. When you are literally inside of the game controlling the characters, you know, it's really cool. And these two, they're friends, they're both guys, but they start making out in the game. They start, you know, having sex, you know, because one character is a man, the other is a woman, and they, you know, start going crazy. It's like, wait, what the hell? So they're gay? You know, but they never, in real life, they actually kiss, you know. It's just weird, you know. It's not like, when I say that it's weird, it's not because I'm homophobic. It's weird because the episode was kind of, they didn't really execute it too well, you know. I think there was potential to kind of like show that they were both closeted homosexuals married to women, you know. One of them was married, even had kids, you know. And it was kind of like their way of discovering it, but they never really played too much on it. They kind of just rushed to end the episode, you know. But I thought that was really cool. Anthony Mackie was in one of the roles, the guy. And I don't know, it's just, I got a notification for a video by the Game Theorists, Among Us, another one. I'm definitely gonna watch that later. So here's the thing. I think that this show is very, very cool. It's very intricate, you know, and I think that once you start peeling back the layers, you know, once you start understanding and trying to pay attention to each episode individually, that's when it starts to make sense, you know. If you try to watch the whole thing as one huge connected universe, you're gonna have a hard time, you know. Watch each episode in its own stride, you know, take it slowly, and you're gonna see that this is actually a really cool series, you know. And I love technology, you know. It does show you that it can get dangerous. Like there's one episode that was really clever where you can kind of block people from like seeing you or something. Like what you see the person, if you get blocked, like you see the person but they're just a white blur, you can't really see them or hear them, you know. And it's kind of like this government thing, you know. There's this one guy who was blocked by his wife, and then he thought that he had a daughter through her, but then he found out that it was actually another dude's daughter because she was Asian, you know, and he gets arrested. This episode is frightening because it really plays on the concept of our pieces of technology, like our phones, for example, you know, or Alexa, that little box that talks to people. It actually does have a mind of its own. They take the consciousness of people and put them in these things, and at first they get scared, they don't know. And there's a way for you to control the little lever thing where you can like for example, you make them wait for, let's say, a year. 365 days, but in your time right now in real time, it's only like 5 minutes, you know. You sit there for 5 minutes, but then that person inside the machine has been waiting for a year. It's crazy. It's crazy. Then he makes a girl wait for months and months and months until she almost goes crazy, and then he gives her something to do. It's the same concept where they put this guy who committed a crime inside this little simulation where he thinks he's in a cabin with a friend of his for 5 years, you know, but he's actually not, you know. It's the guy who's doing it, you know, who's helping the detectives figure it out. It's a really good episode, probably my favorite, you know. And the crazy thing is that he eventually makes the guy wait for, I think, 1,000 years or something crazy like that. It's really frightening, you know. And the person doesn't die. It's their consciousness inside of the machine, so it's not like they're gonna get hungry or thirsty or have to go to the bathroom. You know, they're never gonna die, they don't age, so it's like a program. It's really scary.
And I think to myself,
What can we do?
Everything happens for a reason.
what a wonderful world.
It's more like a waking nightmare.
Everything happens for a reason.
I think that the concept is really, really, really awesome. You know, it's really cool to show a dystopian near future. It's almost like in the present, you know. It's realistic enough to feel like it's in the present, but at the same time, technology is too advanced, you know. So you can kind of see that it's a little bit far off in the future, but not too far, you know. So I think that's the really cool thing about it, you know. It's like showing you what could happen when technology reaches this point, you know. There's one episode that's almost, it's actually very touching. It's probably the lightest episode, you know, in the entire series that I saw, which is a woman who loses her husband, you know, in a car accident, I believe, and then she kind of replicates him, she clones him, she orders this like build-it-yourself mannequin, a robot of sorts, like an android, and she makes it look exactly like her deceased husband, you know, and he talks like him, he acts like him. It all starts with a phone call. She receives phone calls from kind of like an AI version of him, you know, who melded his personality into it, you know. It starts getting crazy, and then eventually it seems like he's real. It seems like he's there, you know, and she can't get rid of him. She almost makes him jump off a cliff at one point, you know, so it's really crazy. And in the end, she just kind of keeps him in the attic for some reason, I don't know. That's actually really creepy because, like, in real life, it does seem plausible. Like, if you lose a loved one, it would make sense, like, if you got the chance to, kind of sort of bring them back in some capacity. But when you bring back an android who looks like your dead husband or wife, I mean, it's not really gonna be them, you know? I don't think you're ever gonna be fully 100% satisfied because it's not a real person. It's not the person you love, you know? So I don't know if I would do this, you know? Might be fun to have a random person as an android to like maybe record YouTube videos with, help me do some challenges or something, you know, but other than that I think it would be really weird. But still, very interesting episode, very intriguing concept. I liked it a lot, you know, and each season introduces new things, you know, the concept of virtual reality simulations and augmented reality, like living in a different dimension, going back to when you were younger, you know. There's even one with Miley Cyrus, you know, I think it was in the 4th or 5th season where she was a pop star, pretty much playing herself, right? And then they create little robots that resemble her and have a little bit of her intelligence, but then they sabotage her, try to replace her, you know, and then the robot has her conscious, and it's a really crazy thing, you know. And whoa, very strong wind just blew outside my door there. That was scary. So yeah, I think it was a really good show. I think it was a really good series, you know, and there's not really too much that I can go into detail because I mean, like, each episode is its own thing, you know, you have to kind of watch it to understand it, you know, but I think it's worth it, guys, you know, like, it would suck if I had to review each and every single individual episode. That would be really terrible, mostly because I don't remember every single one, you know. I watched it all in one sitting across like a week, so I don't really remember every single one, but there were a few highlights that I wanted to give here, you know. There's one where there's this, there's a person blackmailing different people who did bad things, and then they have to kind of, he gives them instructions to do things so they won't expose their secrets. Like, for example, Eagle Eye. You guys ever saw that movie with Shia LaBeouf and Michelle Monaghan? Excellent movie, great movie, and this episode kind of played on that concept a lot, you know? And I think that there are a few darker ones where there are people who are kind of like in this post-apocalyptic world, and there are these androids that are programmed to kill them, you know, they're escaping from them. It's all this crazy thing. This episode was entirely in black and white. It was one of the more confusing episodes of the series, but I still liked it a lot. And it was cool, man. It was really cool. I really liked this series, you know. And I might watch it again in the future, you know, to go back and remember some of the things. You know, it's been a while since I've seen it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it, really. What else can I say? I don't think there's much that I can go into detail about it, you know. There are 5 seasons, but they're all kind of spread out and they're not exactly connected. It's gonna suck if I finish the video and then I remember another episode that I wanted to talk about, but I can probably just do that on Twitter later or something, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I think that has been my review, let's say, of Black Mirror, you know. I think it's definitely worth watching. You guys should definitely check it out on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it still is on Netflix. In 2018, they released an interactive movie called Bandersnatch, which I still haven't seen, but I'm guessing it's going to be something like the Markiplier stuff, where a date with Markiplier or a heist with Markiplier, where you can interact in real time and pick something to happen, you know, like one of those telltale choice-oriented games, you know. But I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm really interested. I think it's going to be fun to immerse myself into that world, you know. And it's nice, man. There was one that in the very first season, there was an episode that played on the concept of that WALL-E thing where people are like isolated in space, and then different, like, they have to exercise and they have a routine, a monotonous routine that they have to stick to, you know. And then some of them get opportunities to do something different, you know. Very interesting, very cool, you know. Each episode has its own little charm. Some of them suck, some I barely paid attention to because they didn't really catch my attention, but the vast majority really did. They really caught my attention and I couldn't stop watching, you know. I binged the show very quickly. I liked it a lot. You know, I think it's very underrated. I think it's a very nice series that shows us the dangers of technology. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. Kind of a short video, not gonna be too long. Not like my 13 Reasons Why video, that was half an hour long. I don't even know how that happened. That's what happens when you record without a timer, you know, without a stopwatch. But anyway, that's it. I think that's all I can say about this series. And if you guys have watched it, drop a comment telling me what you thought about it. And if you decide to go watch it after watching this video, that's gonna suck because I gave you quite a few spoilers here, but I hope you guys decide to check it out anyway because it's definitely worth it, okay? That's it for now, guys. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.